Many people have some idea in their mind what it means to go on a date or what a date is, but when it comes to defining the word, everyone thinks something different. My parents would think differently than I would as to what it means to go on a date, as would my grandparents. History and the evolution of technology have helped recreate and redefine the true definition of the word. Before we go any further, let's take a look at the formal definition as seen in the dictionary. If you open up a dictionary and locate the word date in its noun form, there will be 7 words that describe a much more complicated term: a social or romantic appointment or engagement. This definition is so cut and dry that it doesn't do justice for a word that has evolved over time. When trying to define a date, certain criteria need to be considered, like what is the setting, what are the intentions, and the relationship between the people. While the dictionary proves to be very unhelpful for understanding this word, I turn to a more contemporary form of definition in Urban Dictionary. Perhaps not the most credible of sources, but normally a good place to look for a modern definition of a word. Unfortunately, they only made it worse. Urban Dictionary defines the word date being two people getting together for an activity when the possibility of romance between them has been broached but not ruled out. After being left clueless from that definition, I started thinking that as time went on, the word was readapted to the various time period in order to fit into society and be appropriate to the culture. I know history can be very dull and not exciting, but in order to be able to redefine the term date into today's society, we have to look back as how it evolved over the past 100 years. Dating during this time period consisted of a man going to a woman's house and asking her parents' permission to spend time with her. Oftentimes, this was used as a way for the two to get to know each other and not even on a sexual level, strictly learning the basics about each other. Oftentimes, the two weren't even left alone into the same room and remained under the watch of their parents. This normally kept up until interest was lost or a marriage proposal was granted and the couple was ready to tie the knot. The term going out on a date was born during this time period. With the popularity of movie screening, proms, and prohibition at its prime, going out and getting away from the parents for a while was ideal. The idea of trying to meet the right person became more common as people often went on multiple dates with different people. A term coined to the decade is the infamous flappers. As premarital sex came out of the closet, people pushed the boundaries of what was accepted by society. During this time period, the country was in a time of war, and finding a man to go on a date with was a tough task for many young women. Dates consisted of the man calling the girl at home and arranging a date and place to get to know each other. Dinner dates were very common, and if the first date didn't go well, second dates happened very quickly because the man could be drafted at any moment. The main intention of dating during this time period was trying to find a spouse before one's life was turned upside down by war. With the emergence of birth control pills, the culture of dating changed abruptly. People spent more time partying and hanging out in larger groups in exchange for one-on-one dates. The emergence of birth control and women's movements brought the emergence of the hooking up culture. During this time period, dating stepped aside to a new culture which is referred to as hooking up. Hooking up can be defined as two people getting together for a one-night sexual interaction. People went into social scenes, met new people, and had one-night flings with them, and then maybe met up once or twice again. There was never an intention to set up the meeting, it would just happen as the night progressed. With the progression of texting and instant messaging mediums, people got to know each other via cell phones and oftentimes used those as a way to ask people to hang out or go on dates. Hooking up still dominated the culture, and one-on-one dates seemed less likely to occur. So now that we have examined the definition as it has evolved over the past 100 years, we can now examine the modern definition of the term date. In today's society, many people utilize phone apps like Tinder, Bumble, Snapchat, and even Facebook to communicate and get to know someone. With technology being used to eliminate the getting to know each other phase, dates are often used to skip right into the sexual interaction between people. Going out on dates has become such a rare occurrence that only 2 people on my floor recalled the last time they heard of someone taking someone else out to dinner or even something along those lines. So why does the new definition of a date matter? Well, if trends continue the way they are, who knows if people will ever engage in a committing relationship? Could you imagine a society that never settles down? As of lately, less and less people are comfortable with being asked out on a traditional date and feel as if catching feelings for someone is a bad thing. Times have changed, and the uncommitted mindsets of adolescents is helping to redefine and help make the traditional forms of dating a mere thing of the past.